All you need to know about merger and amalgamation process and its types, explained with examples. When a company is deciding on a corporate development strategy, the type of acquisitions it is looking to make will often determine the strategy even before a long list of potential targets is developed. Definition of merger and acquisition. A merger is a transaction of two companies, usually of similar size, in which the shareholders of each of the two separate companies jointly own the shares of the company that arises after the merger. This is distinct from an acquisition, where one company, the buyer, buys the outstanding shares of a target company, and the target company's shareholders receive the proceeds from selling those shares. Both terms merger and acquisition have become a catch-all expressions for a diverse range of transactions. The 7 types of mergers and acquisitions. 1. Horizontal acquisition. Horizontal acquisitions, often called horizontal mergers, involve gaining market share through consolidation. Both companies should be operating in the same space, providing more or less the same products and services. The increased scale of the new company should give it increased bargaining power and a better competitive position than the two companies previously had when they were on their own. In most industries, the largest players either obtained or maintained their leadership position through horizontal acquisitions. How does it create value? A horizontal merger leads to greater economies of scale in the markets that the company operates. It is also likely to lead to lower operating costs, as the companies can share production facilities, distribution channels, and human capital. Horizontal merger example. The merger of Exxon and Mobil to create ExxonMobil in 1999 could be seen as the textbook case of a horizontal merger. Two companies with the exact same output, very rare, given that all consumer products are at least a little different. The combined firm was the largest in the world at the time of the merger, creating an undisputed leader in the oil and gas industry, and creating hundreds of millions of dollars in cost and revenue synergies. 1. Market extension acquisition. A market extension acquisition is a variation of a horizontal acquisition, whereby the companies in question are in different geographic locations. Ultimately, the aim is still consolidation, but within a wider geography. Cross-border acquisitions are the most commonly seen form of the market extension acquisition, and are particularly common in industries like food retail and retail banking. In these industries, the typically high levels of consolidation that exist incentivize new companies entering the market to undertake acquisitions rather than starting greenfield operations in the new geography. How does it create value? The market extension merger creates value primarily through revenue synergies. There may also be some technology synergies that can be shared within the countries. Cost synergies tend to be lower here, as companies will retain most of the operations in each country even after the merger occurs. Market extension merger example. In early 2022, two innovative shipbuilders, White Shipyard from the UK and OCEA from France, combined in an all-share merger that gave both increased access to both markets, as well as enhanced resources to take on larger players. The market extension merger enabled both companies to double their size. 2. Vertical acquisition. If a horizontal acquisition describes a company buying a competitor operating on the same level of the production chain, a vertical acquisition describes what happens when one company acquires another at a different level of the production or value chain. A vertical acquisition occurs when a company focusing on any one of these areas acquires another with a focus on one of the others. How does it create value? A vertical merger creates value by lowering costs, thereby creating value in the value chain, which can then be passed on to consumers, creating a more competitive value proposition, or to shareholders, enhancing shareholder returns. Vertical merger example. In the strictest sense of the term merger, vertical mergers are extremely rare. The reality is that vertical transactions are usually acquisitions, as a much larger company buys one of its partners or suppliers, enabling it to ensure better control of its value chain. An example of this occurred when UK frozen food retailer Iceland acquired Loxton Foods in 2012, allowing it to gain control of one of the many producers it worked with to bring food production in-house. 3. Conglomerate acquisition. Our consumption patterns increasingly revolve around conglomerates, who have become experts in acquisitions. The conglomerate acquisition occurs when a large company has grown through a series of bolt-on acquisitions, usually with a diverse range of product and service lines, geographies, and industry outlooks. Everybody is familiar with the names of the world's largest consumer product conglomerates such as Procter & Gamble, Nestle, GlaxoSmithKline, and others. When we think of their product lines, they can include anything from pet food to detergent, dairy products to frozen foods. How does it create value? Whisper it, but the consensus now among academics is that there isn't much value created from the merger itself. The value generation comes from each of the companies being managed well, which would have happened without the merger. It is possible that both can gain from a larger consolidated balance sheet and the greater benefits that brings. Conglomerate merger example. Although the deals were strictly acquisitions because more cash than shares was exchanged in the deals. For example, PepsiCo's acquisitions of companies like Wendy's, Burger King, and Pizza Hut in the 1970s and 1980s represent good examples of conglomerate mergers, with the selling of soft drinks having little relevance to the selling of pizzas. Thanks for watching. Like, share and follow us if you appreciate our efforts and objective to disseminate knowledge and information.